Good morning everybody, my name's Richard and I'm at a very windy riverside location in Bideford in Devon this morning. And excuse me, there's bits of tree flying into my face. So here's an opportunity to compare side by side a Tesla Model 3 long range and a Tesla Model S 100D. And the reason I've got these side by side is they're both available for about £35,000 now. I think it's incredibly good value for really good long range Tesla electric cars. So in this video, I'm going to give you some comparisons. What do I like and not like about each version? Which version would I pick? Plus, we're going to drive them from here in Devon back to our location in New Milton in Hampshire. So well over 100 miles, probably about 150 mile journey side by side. So let's see exactly how they compare for their efficiency and real world range. Rain is about to come in by the feel of it, so let's just run through quickly here the comparisons. We've got here one of our own cars we run in the company. It's a 2021 Model 3 long range, and it's fantastic. We've had it a while, we do plenty of miles in this car, and it's just brilliantly efficient, it charges fast. It is a very, very good car. The 21 plate and newer are heat pump fitted, so that helps with efficiency. The earlier cars won't have a heat pump, but they're still good cars, same battery and still great range. So a 21 plate like this with about 23,000 miles at the moment, as I speak, would be worth up near the £40,000 mark, but there are some available in the mid 30s and certainly the older ones now down to about £30,000 even, the pre-heat pump. But it's not everyone's cup of tea, the Model 3. There's a few things that maybe aren't so brilliant about it. Yes, it's fantastically efficient, but there's a couple of things which might go against it. Primarily, it's a saloon. It's not a hatchback. So if you need the hatchback practicality, big though this boot is, if you need the practicality of a hatchback, for example, if you have a dog or you want to put mountain bikes in and stuff like that, then the Model 3 is out. The Model Y is available, but the Model Y is more expensive. You can't get one of those for £35,000. Not yet. And the interior of the Model 3 isn't for everyone as well. Of course, you've just got this single screen layout. Now, I think this is fine. You get used to not having your speedo right in front of you here really quite quickly. But it's not for everyone. Some people find it a little bit too minimal, a little bit all on one screen where you have to kind of fumble around and navigate around menus. Like I say, you do get used to it. I think it's great, but it's not for everybody. And the steering wheel is very small, and I also find these seats a little bit sort of short and small. When I go in and out of different cars, I do then get back in the Model 3 and I go, the seat base just feels like it's a bit short on my legs. So it's not the best seat, I don't think, but I don't hear too many complaints. Most people are very happy with the seats in these cars. And I do like all the more modern centre console cup holders and loads of storage. Like I say, this is a working car we use day in, day out, and it is brilliant. It's a very sharp, nice car to drive, and like I say, fantastic efficiency, which we'll come on to a bit later on. And I have mentioned a few times before that the ride quality in the Model 3 can be a little bit firm. Depends what you're used to, I think, and you do kind of get used to it, and I think it is fine on motorways, but country roads and around town, as I said before, it is that little bit too firm. In this light here, you can also see one other key difference. Can you see this has got that kind of heat reflective glass to it, both the windscreen and the roof? Whereas the Model 3, not in this country at least, doesn't get that. And it's one thing I noticed when I first got Model 3 is I could feel the heat through the roof a little bit on the top of my head. Not really a problem, not making a deal out of it, but it is something I could feel after I was used to the roof on the Model S, if that makes sense. So the Model S, now this is a late 17 with about 75,000 miles in it. So yes, an older car, higher mileage, but the Model S is still prettier, I think, isn't it? I certainly think so. I've always liked the Model S. I think it is a pretty car. This is a facelift car with that kind of slightly neater front end. And I think, and what do you think, is it the prettier? Let me know in the comments below. And the Model S can also come with air suspension. Not all of them, but quite a lot of them do. This one does. So even on these bigger 21-inch wheels, you tend to find a slightly better ride quality. Opening sunroof on the Model S as well, and also some proper roof rack mounting points here. You can get roof racks for the Model 3. It always feels a bit delicate. You kind of have to hook the thing under a bit of glass and make sure you get it in the right place and clamp it down. It always feels a bit scary to clamp something down to glass, even though it's not really going on the glass, but you know what I mean, it doesn't feel that nice. Whereas here you've got these actual little slots for roof racks, and they're just kind of nicer to use in a way. More relaxing. And then of course the hatchback practicality. The Model S, vast boot, nice big loading area. You can actually take your parcel shelf out, fold the seats. Is that thunder? It is, cool. April showers and thunder, it's great filming. So loads of space in the boot of a Model S and very practical. And in fact, I think easy to get kind of mountain bikes and things like that in the back of a Model S, even compared to the Y, because it's just that bit wider. We have done other videos on that, so do check out our practicality test between all different models of Tesla. You'll see it on our previous videos. And if we remember, we'll put it in the description below. And as I walk up to a Model S, the handles come out and they've got lights in the handles, so you simply do this to open a door. Now, I like that. The trouble with the Model 3 is it has no lights in the door handles. And at night, especially if you've got a black door handle on a black Model 3, you literally are going like this looking for a door handle and there's no lights in them. So I like these. Yeah, I like having door handles that come out on the Model S. Very good. Right, let's jump in. Let's head back and get out the rain. When's summer coming? Okay, getting out of the wind, heading back. So we've got about a 3-hour drive. Let's put it in the navigation here. Resetting trips now. What have we got? 149 miles. It's about 150 miles, isn't it? There we go. 3 hours, about 2 hours, 59 minutes to get back. So trips reset. Bottle of water from Gens, thank you Gens. So trips reset, let's head off and we'll see how they compare. I will admit the Model S is a bit of a disadvantage because this hasn't been driven this morning other than a couple of miles to this sort of start location here. Whereas the Model 3, we drove to the location in Devon already this morning. So the Model S is a colder start disadvantage, but you know, over the course of a 3-hour trip, it should kind of pan out pretty much similar, but we'll probably allow it a little bit of allowance, if that makes sense. So of course, in here, the main difference with the Model S versus the Model 3, it's a bit more of a conventional layout. We've got this large screen here, so I can put my navigation in, just a bigger screen for that. And I can also have my media there. There's more room to share both things. And then I've got the screen in front of me here, which shows my speed, my turn-by-turn directions, plus my trip information or tire pressures. I've got much more scope to display more information here. And I like that. A bit of a geek, so I like to see my efficiency and trip data at the same time as having my media source and a map overview and my turn-by-turn map directions all at the same time, which I like. We've got ventilation controls. You can just move around rather than having to go through the screen like you do on the Model 3 and the Model Y. Plus, of course, we've got just a stalk here for adjusting my steering column rather than having to go through the screen. I've got buttons here to adjust my mirrors rather than having to go through the screen. Now, I don't mind the screen thing. You kind of do it once, you get it set how you like it, and you save your profile, and that's it. But again, to some people, it's just kind of a bit more familiar to have these buttons readily available. We've got a larger steering wheel here, which you notice after the Model 3. And I always like an S.
Turn right onto Kingsley Road.
I always enjoy getting back in an S. I always realise and remember just how much I like them, if I'm honest. So, yeah, it's always a nice car. Always a bit more kind of, feels a bit more mature, a bit more refined. And maybe in my age I like that. So. Right, this is now going to be the journey back then. Let's see how it does for efficiency and range. So we've got a journey back across the south coast, 2 hours, 59 minutes, 149 miles to go. So when I said about 150 miles, I was exactly right, wasn't I? So here we go, across the south coast like this. I didn't need to sort of drag it around like that. I could just push this button here, would have changed that around. No, it won't. It hasn't got that bit. That's this one here. I was used to the Model 3, you see. So there's my route overview. Has a feel about it which I really like. Again, it's all down to personal preferences, but after that kind of sharp, agile, hard style of the Model 3, the S is always a bit more relaxing. So as you get in the car here, I've just got nicer seats, better leg support, better side bolsters. I prefer that. Bigger wheels, slightly less intense steering, so it's more relaxing to drive. It's still quite sporty. You can still put this around the country lane quite happily. But it's also got that smoother ride, it's a nicer cruiser, it's a bit more mature in how it drives. And I really like the Model S. Every time I get back in one, I think this is great. So I might not be a particular fan of this kind of burr walnut interior, but this can be different, this can be changed. The sound system, a Model 3's got a great sound system, brilliant speakers, it sounds really good, but the Model S with premium audio, which this one does have, is even better. And it's just deeper and richer, and Again, I really like the sound system. I know audiophile, I mean, other people may have their pros and cons, but I think the Model S with premium high fidelity sound is one of the best from any car. I really love it. Very real world conditions, as you can see. It's 8 degrees Celsius outside. It's raining. It's far from the best efficiency conditions. I'm in a t-shirt in the car, so the heating's on. I'm set to 21 degrees interior temperature. Nice and toasty in here. Gins does like it cooler, so he'll have, again, be an advantage because he won't have as much heating on. He's from Latvia. He likes it cold in the cabin. I'm not. I like it warmer. So let's see how we get on. I'm just going to pull into a lay-by up here, and as soon as the first opportunity, and reset our trips. And then we've got this long drive back, mainly A roads, which would be quite efficient typically, except for this weather and this temperature. Anyway, there we go. Hello gents, I've pulled into a lay-by because I want to reset the trips from now, because this car was stone cold. It'd be too much a disadvantage. There's a good chance to get a comparison, so reset your trips now. It shows I've covered 18 miles, so I'm going to reset my trip A on the Model S now, and we'll compare the efficiency from here. Also take note of your battery percentage. I've got 79%. Now. The line's breaking up, but if you reset your trip and you've got a note of your battery percentage, don't forget it, then let's head off. All right, we got 123 miles to go. Awful conditions. This car says it's 7 degrees Celsius. What have you got?
26%, 8 degrees Celsius.
26%, 8 degrees Celsius. That car reckons it's warmer. Okay, oh look, we're going to pull out of this lay-by. Let's see how quick they are. Ready, steady, go. Oh, a late start there, Gints. They're pretty similar in performance terms, these two cars, to be honest. Shame you were napping there, son. You might also like the fact you've got a physical button here to adjust how intermittent you like the wipers on the Model S. It's worth also mentioning supercharging and connectivity. Supercharging first. An S100D will not have free supercharging. There's a few early P100Ds that will, but I've never come across a 100D that has. They came later after free supercharging finished. I see them misadvertised all the time. Maybe the first owner has free supercharging, but the next owner will not. It's non-transferable. So a few P100Ds with free supercharging. There's then the older S90Ds with free supercharging, but I've yet to see a 100D with free supercharging. So forget about free supercharging, you're going to have to pay for it. However, what you do get is premium connectivity. So there are no Model 3s, well, a few, there's a handful of Model 3s, but basically no Model 3s in the UK which would have free premium connectivity. You have to pay $9.99 a month if you want to do things like satellite mapping, downloading, streaming media and such like, whereas on a Model S like this one here, I do have included package, no cost per month, premium connectivity. So satellite mapping, streaming as much Spotify, tune in as you like. This car's got MC1, so I don't have Netflix and YouTube, but if I upgrade it to Netflix and YouTube with MCU2 upgrade, then I could just get it for free. I presume you don't have to then pay for premium connectivity. I don't think so. So premium connectivity, $9.99 a month, something you do save with a slightly older car. And it's just nice to drive. Adjustable headrests in this as well. Adjustable headrests, which the Model 3 doesn't have. Okay, here we are back, and as you can probably tell, it's not the same day, it's the next day. The weather was atrocious yesterday, it didn't let up, if anything got worse. So we're saving this results for today. So I'm going to run through the efficiency, kind of pro rata range and the cost of that journey before we sum things up here. And with this car, you may have noticed on 21-inch upgraded alloy wheels. So these do cost it efficiency. They cost, roughly speaking, about 10, maybe even 11% of efficiency difference having the bigger 21-inch turbine wheels. So I've done some adjustments just to keep things a little bit fairer for the Model S. So with a 10% adjustment, assuming this on 19-inch slipstream wheels, which is what would be the more efficient version, because this one is on its 18-inch aero wheels, so the most efficient wheel for the Model 3. So what have we got then? So when we reset the trips, this car had a chance to warm up, probably still at a bit of a disadvantage, but nonetheless, we're going to have to go with this now. We've got here an average of 300 watt hours per mile, so about 3.3 miles per kilowatt hour. For the Model 3, Incredibly efficient, 215 watt hours per mile, 4.6 miles per kilowatt hour, which is actually better than we normally even get from this car. So even in that rain, I don't know why that was so good. Had been driven all day, so it was plenty warm, but just incredibly efficient. I mean, that's phenomenal. This car used 43% of its battery. If we pro-rated that out, would give it a range of about 290 miles. This one here used up 42% of its battery. Pro-rata that out, you get a range of a bit over 300 miles, even in those conditions. So you can see the Model 3 definitely is efficiency king, but spookily good results for that car, even in those conditions. Now the cost of all that, well, if you're charging here, we've got the solar on the roof, nothing, absolutely free. Brilliant, isn't it? However, let's say if you're charging these cars from home and you're paying the highest rate of electricity for domestic use, 34 pence per kilowatt hour, that journey would cost you about £12.85 in this car and about £9.52 in this car. So you can see there, the Model 3 really is king of efficiency, but by the time you then take a bigger battery, you're actually coming out to fairly similar ranges, each car capable of about 300 miles of range. If you're going to go with 21-inch turbine wheels, they look lovely, but they will cost you about 10% on all those numbers, so bear that in mind. They do look good though, don't they? Anyway, so what do I like? Well, again, it's down to case point, isn't it? Which car suits you better for your needs, practicality, and what you like to drive. I think I've summarised a few of my key points. The Model S, I think it's the better looking car. I love how it drives. I like some of the sort of premium features like the air suspension, the sun reflective glass, the opening sunroof like this one's got. I'm not really one for sunroofs, but if you like sunroofs, that's an important feature. The big boot, the two big screens, it's just nice, a balance of how it drives. I like that little bit of refinement and ride comfort. Whereas the Model 3, fantastically efficient it is, it's great fun to drive, it's much more kind of agile, but it's not such a cruiser, it's not such a refined car, and the ride is a bit firm, but again, all down to personal preferences, taste, and what you need it for. So there we go. I hope that's been a useful comparison. Just something we could do as we go about our other business. Do the test again on another day. I'm sure you get some slightly different results, but kind of roughly in line with where I was thinking. Bigger battery, less efficient, similar range. But I like the Model S. A lot of people like the Model 3. Which one do you prefer? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. See you next video.